Well, it's another big week coming up in the Afl Riverina and Farah Football Leagues. Joining us at the desk to go through them both is Tom Walker, the Afl Riverina Football Operations Coordinator. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
No worries, Tom. Thanks for having me.
We'll start off with the Riverina Football League. The Eagles, they're up against Maine. They're playing a night game out at Narrandera. The bounce for that one at 5:30. How do you see it playing out?
Should be an interesting game. Narrandera are coming off the bye. Maine had a great win against Turvey Park last week. Mitch Steele kicked 9 goals. Jaden Cox kicked 6. So it will be an interesting game. Matt Clark, the Maine new recruit, is on fire. So I think it'll be a tough game for Narrandera. I think Maine are a proud club and should take the win.
Leeton's taking on Mangapla. Caught up with Mango coach Nathan Irvin earlier in the week. He said he was spewing after the side let go of a 19-point lead to lose their last game. How do you see them going against Leeton?
I think they'll be pretty fired up after last week's loss. To lose to Coolman at home in those circumstances wouldn't have been easy for the coach Nathan Irvin. Leeton are 1-1. That's their first game at home, so they'll be fired up. Bryce O'Gary, their best player, was in form last week. I think the fact that Mango lost last week in a tight one, they'll be fired up to bounce back, and I'm going to tip them.
Match of the round this week, Colin Gully up against Coolaman. Both teams coming off the back of close wins in round 2. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, close wins, tough games, so their bodies are going to be sore. They're both last year's grand finalists, so no doubt Colin Gully will be coming out looking for revenge to come over the top of Coolaman. Colin Gully, they're a bit of a different looking team this year, a bit younger. Coolaman are a lot stronger, more depth in their list, a lot more experience. So it'll be interesting to see how Colin Gully at home respond to the reigning premiers. It should be an interesting game. Colin Gully, of course, played Anzac Day. They had a couple of days extra break. I'd be interested to see how Sparks and Lennon use those extra days of rest, or if he's put a bit of hard work with boys early in the week. Coolaman are premiers. They're probably the best team in the competition. I think they should be good enough to beat Colin Gully at Colin Gully.
And wrapping up the round, the Tigers up against Griffith. Griffith was able to celebrate its centenary with a win. How do you see them going against the Tigers? Yeah,
it would have been a huge relief for Griffith to win the team of the century announcement game. It would have been a real tough game for them up against Leeton arch rivals. Wagga Tigers again had a really tough game against Colin Gully on Anzac Day as well. I'm going to tip Tigers in what should be a really good game of football.
Now, there's a couple of crackers in the Farah League, kicking it off with North Wagga. They're up against the Northern Jets.
Yeah, I think this is probably game of the round. It's the most interesting match of the week. North Wagga are coming off a huge win against CSU. Northern Jets, they're probably a bit disappointed in their effort against last week against Temora. Temora had a few out. I would have expected a little bit better from Northern Jets. So they'll be fired up. I think North Wagga at home, it should be really tight game, but Nathan Dowdell is proven to be a very good coach. I think North Wagga, just because they're at home.
And we've got the grand final rematch between the Rock and Temora. You've got to think players from both of these teams would have had this one circled on the calendar as soon as the draw came out.
Yeah, absolutely. They've competed in the last 2 grand finals, both of them very successful clubs. Not very often you see the Rock come 0-2 in the season. They're a proud club, a club of great history and success. So they'll be looking to bounce back after their recent losses. The Temora, they're in white-hot form. They're still missing a few players, but their new recruit, Matt Wallace, is an exceptional footballer, obviously, leading goal kickers with 11. Should be very hard for the Rock to stop. I wouldn't write off the Rock. They are at home. David Pieper is a great coach. He's in great form as well. So I think Temora should win, but at Rock, it's going to be a really tough game.
Now, Collie up against CSU. The Bush Pigs come off the back of another big loss. Not looking any better for them this week.
No, they are struggling a bit. Brett Garrett, coach, is no doubt up against it with his squad at the moment. Collie Ambly, they'll be feeling very confident after the last week's win against East Wagga. They're at home. They're always hard to beat at home. It doesn't matter what players they throw in the park. Collie Ambly, they're always are very competitive. I think that they should win and win comfortably, really.
And Mara against East Wagga wrapping up the round. Another solid game for the Farah League. You think the key for the Hawks probably limiting the ball to Chase McIntosh after he kicked about 5 or so last week?
Yeah, Chase McIntosh was outstanding last week against the Rock. He kicked 5 or 6 goals, was a constant threat up forward. His brother Shane, of course, played exceptionally well through the midfield. So there are a couple of players East Wagga will need to keep an eye on. East Wagga, I think they'd be disappointed with last week's effort. They're at home against Collie Ambly. Obviously, Collie Ambly, a very good football team, but they only kicked 14-1. I think they want a bit more scoreboard pressure than that. I think 14-1 kind of disguised the score a little bit for the game last week against Collie. It should be a really tight tussle. They've historically gone really close head-to-head. Mara at home, probably the difference. I'd tip probably Mara. No Mark Eppert obviously makes a difference for East Wagga, big spearhead forward. So I'll tip Mara to win that one.
Excellent. A great round of footy in both the Riverina and Farrer football leagues. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
No worries, thank you, Tom.